right, good morning, everybody. Joe Van Dorn here, and welcome to our Virtues Pick for today. I'm very excited to be here. We have a great word today that came up for us, and I'm just thrilled to be able to bring this. So that word, the virtue that came up for us today, was devotion. So let's make this just a little bit bigger so you can see it. There you go. So, what about devotion? Now, let's read the description first, and then we'll go from there. Devotion is commitment to something we care about deeply. It is a passionate focus on our life's purpose. It is a wholehearted service to an endeavor that we love. Devotion to those we love is a promise kept in daily ways to care for one another always. Discernment is the first step in discovering what is worthy of our devotion. What is my yes? What calls to me so strongly that I cannot resist, knowing that it is truly mine to do? When we are devoted, we give all we have and all that we are. Devotion is our true wealth. So isn't that a beautiful virtue, and one that we can all relate to? I'm thinking about the commitments that we make in our life. You know, we commit ourselves early on to our education. We commit ourselves to relationships. We commit ourselves to our family. We commit to friends. But certainly in all of those things, we're going to find certain pieces of them that are really more important than other pieces. And they're all important. But probably the most important one, the one that is going to be with us the longest, is our devotion or our commitment to the things that we care about, which for most of us is going to start with our family, right? And then there might be a commitment to something else that we care about. It could be, some research on helping people to overcome certain issues or sicknesses, or there might be any number of things that our life's purpose we can find, and generally it comes out of something that has happened to us, right? So you'll notice that those people who are most passionate and focused on cancer treatment have experienced in their own life or in someone very close to them some devastating things that have taken place in regard to cancer. And the same is true with almost any subject or any disease or really any subject. It could be, I'm devoted to helping children, and it could be because we didn't have such great childhood, right? I'm devoted to being, to helping parents. I'm devoted to education of our children. I'm devoted because, we saw how education helped us to move forward. So there can be all of those things, but when we're devoted to something, what we have done is made a promise to ourselves to work wholeheartedly in a service of that devotion or in that endeavor. And that's what devotion is all about. So when I think about devotion, the very first thing that comes to my mind is the commitment to family. And for me, having grown up in a rather dysfunctional situation and having lost a lot of family early on, it's one of those things that is so important to me, and I don't believe that it is the only thing that's important, but I do believe that if we have that sort of if our relationships are strong with our family, that makes everything else in life wonderful. And I was just thinking that sometimes people who get to the end of their life, one of the things that they regret is not having spent more time or having more experiences with their children or with their mates or whatever in that fashion. And so we don't want to let that happen to us. But devotion to our family and especially to our children also says that we are willing to continue to evolve ourselves and to improve ourselves and to grow ourselves so that we can be those persons that can care for another, mentor another, coach another, parent, and is what I'm really trying to say, in a way that helps them to helps our child to grow into that responsible, respectful, wonderful, healthy, successful, and happy adult. And so, devotion to something like that is a pretty big deal, isn't it? And that's really what's on my mind when I think about devotion this morning. So, as we practice this virtue of devotion, it really starts with those 4 C's of successful families. And the first is clarifying what our purpose is and what our life has called us to be. And sometimes circumstances put us into different situations and we have to move from there. And other times it's something that we've called on ourselves. But then working with a complete, wholehearted efforts, desires, our willingness to move whatever obstacles are in the way to be the best at whatever it is that we've decided to devote ourselves to. And so how do we teach our kids about devotion? Or I think a better way is, how do we help them to develop this virtue of devotion so that they can not only recognize the importance of keeping their commitments every day, but also appreciate the joy that comes from doing what you love to do, right? Loving what you do, loving that journey. And so how do we do that? And I think, one of the very first things is that we can't demand that our child have the same interests that we have. And that means that we have to discern and become very perceptive about the things that are of most interest to them. So when it comes to like reading books to them, we may slip in some of the books that we want to, but we should also, to help to encourage reading with them, we want to make sure that we read things that they're interested in. And when we do that, then we're helping them to develop the interest and find what it is that they're most passionate about. And so that helps, right? And so then how do we show that we're devoted to something? Well, we do it by committing ourselves to it, right? So we do it by carefully working on something on a continual basis. So that's, that practice of devotion. And I think we need to name it so that, and this is something I hope to talk about soon a little bit more, and that's, if we don't name these things with the virtues that they are, then we're not really helping our child to develop that vocabulary of the virtues, the words and the descriptions and the behaviors and what it looks like in your family. And so your devotion might be to any number of things, but it's important that your child knows what it is that you're devoted to. And that will also help them to see that that's a path that they can go down, that they can devote themselves to something too. So that's my thoughts about devotion. And today, I'm devoted to this, and I heard a thing today I saw this little video of Jay-Z, the music mogul, that he talked about a point in his life where he had to choose between trying to be successful in his music or being successful in the street. And he chose being successful in music, which of course he has been. And the reason that he has been successful is he gave his all. He gave 100% to it and left behind trying to be successful in the street. Now, those are his words, and I think it has a lot of truth to it. So when we decide what we're devoted to, You can't be wishy-washy about it. We have to live it out in all ways. So thank you very much for being here this morning. I've enjoyed talking about devotion. It has inspired me to think about what am I devoted to, and am I truly 100% devoted there? So that's what I'm thinking about today. So thank you very much for being here. Until next time, keep practicing the virtues and the 4 C's of successful families, and that is clarity, communication, consistency, and community. Until next time, bye.